Hello, everyone, and you welcome to a new episode with Progress Over Perfection from the study of Age Radio Australia here in Perth. As you know, in this podcast, we talk about relationship. This is the main argument we discuss, the main topics we discuss. But relationship is not only about a romantic relationship, but sometimes it's about relationship with us and relationship with our friends and with relationship with our coworker. So this is why I invited today James Bryden.
Yes.
James Bryden is a productivity coach. So, first, you're welcome,
Thank you.
James.
Thank you.
How are
Pleasure
you?
to be here. Very well, thank you.
What is a productivity coach?
Well, it's a name I don't particularly like, to be honest. I've had it for
Okay.
about 12 years, but going through the process of changing it is a bit problematic, and I just prefer to stay the way I am with that. But fundamentally, I would call myself more a mentor than a coach.
Okay. So, a productivity coach is someone to help business
Yes.
people to be more productive.
Yes, that's the end result. Okay.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's about relationships. It really is.
Mm.
I predominantly work with teams that are dysfunctional.
Ah,
So, in any team, and I've been involved in sporting teams for many years.
yeah.
And there's always some people who like to dominate, other people like to bitch and moan and complain, and there's backbiting and there's jealousy and all those sorts of things come into play. So my aim is to help not only the team work better together, but also to help the managers who manage their teams to communicate better and so that we get everyone on the same page.
So you actually help teams in company to be more productive, to be happy together, to work together, to understand each other. That's correct?
Yeah. Well, people who enjoy their work
Okay.
tend to do better.
Yeah, this is why I find affinity with what you do, with what I do. So at the end of the day, a big team in a corporate work together towards some goals is like a family.
Mhm.
Correct?
Correct.
So you have the father and the mother, the two managers or the bosses of the house, and then you have all the rest of the family that can work together and co-work together. That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is why I want to James here today, and I think the experience of James' experience, I think, can be very helpful for everybody out there, even. To me, it's been very good since I met you. The things that you suggest, you help me to understand, is very important to me. So I hope everything you have to say can reach their heart.
Thank you, and I find the same with you actually.
Yeah.
This is why we get on so well together. Is that I from what you told me, I understand what you're doing and what a difference you make in the world, particularly in personal relationships. So.
Thanks. So today we kick on it. We fell in love today. Anyway, now and what I want to talk about today, because Sir James, because he is a Sir from England, you wrote a part of a book. Correct?
Yes.
Would you like to maybe show the book? And
it's called the Power of Connection. Okay, and it's an anthology.
It's an anthology.
And I think there's about 20 of us wrote a chapter each in the book, outlining our journey through life and business and what we did to overcome the obstacles that got in our way.
Okay. And what I liked about your anthology is about your story. Is your story. And as a counselor, when I read the story, I found things. I say, we need to talk about this, James. But especially the last bit, when you talk about vulnerability, I really think is a very fascinating thing to talk about, especially if come from men.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Okay, you come from Coventry, UK.
Coventry, yeah.
Coventry.
Yeah.
So tell us, what is Coventry? Where is Coventry? And
Well, if you look at a map of England and you
Okay.
look for a place in England that's as far away from the sea as possible, that's Coventry. It's right in the middle, just to the. If you look on the map, it's just to the right of Birmingham.
okay,
It was back when I was growing up. It was very much an industrial town. They produced a lot of cars, a lot of machinery, a lot of stuff for the military and so forth. So it was full of factories.
okay,
And of course, most people, when they left school, tended to go into
Mm.
factory life. And the thought of doing that did not appeal
They,
to
they
me.
appeal to you. Yeah. And how was for you grow up in this kind of environment?
Okay, well, growing up there, it became very clear to me very early on when I was at school
Mm.
that there was something wrong with the education system.
Okay.
Okay, there was very much a class system there.
Mm.
You know, the people who had the money and had the wherewithal and had the connections, they all went to the posh schools,
Okay.
and I went to the ordinary one, comprehensive school as it was then. And I always had the feeling there that they were just educating us to go into factories.
Mm.
There was no sort of way out,
Okay.
effectively, for people like me,
Okay.
and of course the other people that were in the school.
Mm.
So yeah, I just didn't like the place, and I just wanted to get away. So,
So this why, say, I sign here that in one point you wrote to seek validation, I adopted the role of a helper.
yes,
This was something that came out because
well, I found that my father got involved in an accident. He worked in the pits,
Okay.
in the mines,
Mm.
and when I was about 5, there was a cave-in
Mm.
and he broke his back, got badly injured,
Okay.
took a long time to recover, and was
Yeah.
effectively, you know, semi-invalided for the rest of his working career. As a result, finding work was very difficult, and life was very difficult for us as a family.
Mm.
And we were always poor.
Yeah.
And that sense of lack, that sense of being in that situation had a big effect on me.
Mm.
And that's one of those things that's carried me, that went with me through most of my adult life as well.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to overcome,
No.
you know. So in order to get validation, the best way for me to do that was I couldn't give it to myself because I didn't feel worthy.
Mm.
Where's the best place to get it? From other people.
Yeah.
And how is the best way to do that? Is to
Pleasing people.
please people.
Pleasing
You become a people pleaser.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you say, in fact, that and staying under the radar became a default setting for you,
Yes.
as a shield.
Yeah.
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 Do you think this went along for a long time in your life?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Mm.
It's one of the reasons I wanted to get away.
Okay.
I don't want to get out of that environment.
Mm.
You know, now first I went off and I worked for a very short time in the factory. I couldn't handle that, so I went and joined the forces.
Yeah.
Realised that was just another aspect of the class system I talked about,
Mm.
officers and enlisted men. And then I decided, no, I was young enough at the time to be able to get out, so I left that. I didn't want to be a pawn in somebody else's game.
Okay. Yeah.
Some people will recognise that. I would have been sent to Northern Ireland because the Troubles were on at the time. I thought, nah, sorry, I'm not doing it.
Northern Ireland to do what?
Well, because the IRA were big at that time.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of bombings, a lot of shootings, a lot of killings in Northern Ireland. And it was a fight that really I didn't feel...
You didn't want to
I
do.
didn't feel that
Fair enough.
but it was something I should be involved in.
Yeah.
And as it happened, I married an Irish girl. So
Wow. Yeah. You're married an Irish girl.
I did, yeah.
This is another interesting topic. Maybe one day we can talk about the Irish problem at the time.
Yeah.
But what you've done to get out from this? So you said that you went to the Royal Marines, correct?
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
How was the timing there?
Look, I don't regret doing it. I mean, I was
Okay.
fit as I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And, it was great in the sense that they taught me how to wash myself, how to iron clothes,
Yeah.
wash and iron my,
Yeah.
my gear, how to be independent.
Yeah.
And all the ironing and all of that sort of stuff was great. And how to hold myself up properly, how to shoot people, how to fire a gun, how to do all of those sorts of things, how to kill people.
How to kill people.
It's not that at all. It's not something, of course, I've
No.
got to put into practice, nor would I want to. But from the practical perspective, and I also, as I said, I became very, very fit. And
it's true that, I mean, many times the army become as well your family.
This was
in some
actually the
ways.
Royal Marines. It's part of the Navy.
Yeah.
But it's the army of the Navy, if you like.
The Navy, yes. Yeah. So sorry for my confusion.
It's okay.
In fact, you said at one point you moved to Australia, and then as surprised, you wrote this. I think was very funny. As surprising, jobs require those specific skills, so killing people, or or a football skill. You couldn't find many jobs down here, correct?
None. Not that I was looking for one, of course. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. At one point, you talk about setting a realistic expectation.
Yes.
Okay. And how scared you were to setting this expectation with the fear of failure.
Yeah. Looking back, I mean, I left to join the Royal Marines as soon as I got out.
Yeah.
Right. How else can I escape Australia? So effectively, I was running away, from home. From the situation.
Stay under the radar. Yeah.
Staying under the radar, but just trying to get away from it. But that didn't cure the issue. So one thing I realized later, wherever I went, there I was.
Yeah. The fear of failure was there.
It was still there. Yeah.
And at one point, this fear of failure actually became a reality.
Oh yeah. It was quite some time. I mean, I was two aspects to it. One, I played football, soccer. I was pretty good at it, and the other side was I went and learned how to do electronics. So I ended up working. Back then, colour TV came out around 1975, and I learned how to fix them, and so I got involved with that for many years.
Would you talk about the bankruptcy that you went through?
Yeah. Difficult time. I worked for a company fixing TVs. Then I had my own business.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Western Australia, to here. And I made a big mistake and bought another company that I should never have gone anywhere near. My gut was telling me, don't do it. But I did it anyway. And
you say that you did it without consulting Mary.
That's right. Yeah. It's one of the worst things I've done.
Yeah.
That I regret to this day.
Yeah.
I put her through hell, and I'd never do that again. In fact, I think I might mention it in the book there that I wouldn't have blamed her if she'd left. In fact, I'm surprised she didn't. Because it was all my own doing. Of course, I beat myself up for that. And
what did you learn from that? First, what happened in that period? What was the wrong mistake, the wrong choice, and what happened in these choices?
You mean in buying this new business?
Yes. What happened there? Because you explain here pretty well.
Well, I had 10 employees.
Yeah.
Okay, and I didn't know how to, couldn't manage them properly. I had no real business experience of running a team like that.
Yeah.
at least in a in business context. I've done it many times with sporting teams, but not in a business context. So I was very naive and didn't pay attention to the numbers. Didn't know how to market myself properly, and still don't, by the way. But
it's a learning curve. Everybody have this problem in this
yeah,
stage.
I solved that another way. But it came to bite me on the backside. And the thing about going bust is it doesn't just suddenly happen. It happens slowly over time, so imperceptibly slowly. Then one day you wake up and it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
And that was very difficult. Very difficult. Devastating, in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The things I want to point out in your script. I think is very interesting script. I think is one of the story that you read it and make you understand what's going on and the timing and these things. But what I want to point out here, because you say that you at one point you sold this electronic business, okay, and you say that you at one point, aside from electronics and zero skill or qualification and no plan, you went to buy another electronic business.
Yeah.
Now I want to point out this. This is where I find some discrepancy here.
Yeah.
So you say that you didn't have any skill. When we talk, what do you think is what you become? No?
Can I just explain?
Yeah.
I had skills in doing the job, doing the work.
Yeah.
I didn't have the skills in running a business with lots of employees.
Yeah. Yes, but for me, I'm a reader. I read this. Okay.
Yeah.
You say that you don't have any skills. Okay, have a vague idea about working with people, aside from electronics. So you have skills.
Yes.
Okay, you have skills because you have the skills in military. You learn some skills that is taking care of yourself, be present, be good worker, be ambitious. Correct.
Yeah.
Football that then became something very important for you later on.
Yes.
Because I really believe that everything happened for a reason, okay? And we see what is the reason about that. And you actually work in electronics, no?
Yep.
So you had the skill to do the job.
To do the job, yeah.
To do the job.
To do the work of the business, yes.
Yes, the work of the business.
Yes.
So this is why when I read this, from my point, okay, I'm a critic and say, okay, there is this ambiguity here, okay. No, you have the skills, okay.
Yeah.
But the point is, at one point, the China manufacturing come along and kick you out from business. You weren't the only one that lost the business, probably, correct?
Yes, I was. That particular business, yes.
You were the only one
yes.
lose the business.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It was my business. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the mistakes that you made in that period?
I think the biggest one was no plan.
No plan.
No plan.
No plan.
I didn't pay attention to the numbers.
Yeah.
I just sort of went with the flow and thought everything would magically happen. Of course it didn't. It never does. So that was it.
And you say here managing people.
Yeah.
What do you do now? Work?
I teach what I had to learn. Yeah.
Everything happened for a reason.
Of course.
Yeah. This is why for me is so inspiring, this short story.
Yeah.
Now, because then you went in Indonesia just after that, correct? You went in Indonesia. In Indonesia, you became a celebrity.
I wouldn't say celebrity, but certainly I became very well known.
Yeah.
I was in all the national newspapers. I was interviewed numerous times on TV.
Yeah.
People asking for my autograph in the street. my team. I had the national youth team. These were under 16, under 17.
How many people you were managing?
I had a team of 5, and of course all of the 30 players.
So you were able to manage.
Yeah, I did quite a good job. Yeah.
So this why reading this to say, okay, but it's a failure.
Very stressful.
Well, I understand that. I understand the point of view. No,
Yeah.
I understand the point of view, and is a thing that is we need to think about. No, when I was reading, I thought, because you said here that you were very scared of failure.
Yeah.
And for what I learned, that more you think about something, more that things happen.
Yeah, I know that now.
Yeah, you know that.
I know that now. Yeah.
Now, tell me more about the Indonesia
Okay.
thing.
Well,
What happened? Because
it was
being famous in Australia for is school,
Yes.
USA, but in Indonesia, come on, it's very exotic, you know?
Yeah. Look, it fantastic experience, but it's an interesting story about
Yeah.
how I actually got the job.
Yeah, how did you get the job?
We met. I was actually, because I'd gone bankrupt and I was just going into a job. I was selling pest control at the time.
Okay.
And we went into this Indonesian fella's house, and we were talking about that. He loves his football, and we were talking about it. And he said, "Well, so we've got a game this weekend. Why don't you come down and watch?" So, and I was in my sort of 40. I was 40 at the time.
You were a trainer, correct? You were a coach.
I was coach, but I was also still playing.
You were playing. Okay.
So anyway, with the first team, I came on as a substitute and scored probably the best goal I've ever scored in my life. In that game.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just amazing. The opposition team just sort of clapped.
Yeah.
Wow. But that was. He called me after that.
Yeah.
He said, "Can you come and see me?" And he offered me the job of. I didn't realize it at the time, but he was actually putting together he was bankrolling the youth team of Indonesia. He's a millionaire. He's
Okay.
The guy's got multiple hotels and palm oil plantations and what have you. So it was just a stroke of good luck, good fortune, that I was in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. And it's just serendipity. Call it what you want, but it was really fortuitous. So it took me about 3 nanoseconds to say yes.
3 nanoseconds, yes, coming.
Yeah, and so then it was prep for a couple of months, and then it was off April 2001. I turned up there, and then I had to go around the country selecting players for the squad.
Okay, so you became so good in your job that actually many of your players actually made it in a youth selection, correct?
Yeah, I still get messages from them on Facebook now.
Yeah,
this is 20 odd years later.
Well, I think it is pretty cool. Huh?
Yeah.
Sorry, we have a message from Goddess. He say, always listen to have. A second. Always listen to your gut instinct. Yes,
I learned that one now. Thank you for that comment. It was a painful lesson to learn, but certainly intuition is very important to me now.
Yeah,
and going with that gut feel. I always check in, just to check on whether it's analytically the right thing to do as well. But if those two align, then yes, I'll go with it for sure.
Yeah, so at one point you became this celebrity in Indonesia. Everybody were looking at you. Everybody were James, correct? So,
well, I wouldn't say celebrity, but certainly well known. Yeah.
Well,
when I'm on the back page of the national newspaper, Liverpool had just won some European Cup of some sort, and they're on there, and my picture's underneath them with an article, and I'm sitting there. One game that we played in just bizarre. One game that we played, we had 15,000 people to watch these kids playing in the Southeast Asian Championships, and we played Thailand, and We beat them 1-0. Apparently, we were the first Indonesian team to beat any Thai team in 10 years.
I think you became a celebrity over there.
Well,
Now-
it's interesting because after the game, one of my assistants came up. They used to call me Mr. Jim, short for James.
Yeah.
Mr. Jim, come here. Okay. We followed him under the grandstand into a little room, walked in there, and it's full of cameras and journalists, and it's packed.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting down, put my Nike cap on because they were sponsoring us. I'm sitting there pinching myself. Is this real? You know, it's just it's just so alien to be put into that, from training twice a week and playing on a Sunday or Saturday afternoon to training twice a day and being involved all week, every day. It's a whole different game.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to get used to it quickly.
Yeah.
But
This popularity, because you say that you were a celebrity. Okay, there is celebrity as Brad Pitt celebrity. Okay, have all the world knows.
very minor.
And there is a celebrity, if you go into it, there is Vasco Rossi. Vasco Rossi is the biggest Italian rock singer. Okay, nobody knows him outside Italy, but he does 4 shows in a row with 80,000 people in Milan.
Yeah.
So I think that means be a celebrity of the country. Yeah. Now you were a celebrity of your country.
Look, in our sort of realm, yes. I mean, I could probably say that more people in Indonesia knew me than there are people in Australia.
Yeah,
because they've got a population of 200 million.
But
10%, they would have read about me or whatever. Yeah.
This popularity had an effect on you, or what?
Yeah, it raised expectations.
Yeah,
you know, because
what happened with the young boy that want to stay under the radar and be?
I'm still there. I found it difficult. That's why that was so stressful.
Yeah,
that really got to me. And to be honest, I sort of drank too much alcohol at the time as well, just to numb myself a bit from it, because I really had trouble with it.
Do you think being that level of celebrity was a good thing for you, or
yes?
Yeah. In what way?
Well, the thing is, I found that over time, it's really important is that challenges in life, if you want to grow, are necessary. Absolutely necessary. I mean, too many people just want to be comfortable all the time, and it's okay in its own right. But if you really want to grow as a person, you need to put yourself in situations where you're challenging yourself. And I did that inadvertently. I didn't do it deliberately.
Yeah.
But all the bankruptcy and various other things that happened in my life have helped make me who I am today. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I hadn't gone through that experience.
Yeah.
It's
the ups and downs.
It's so important.
Yeah.
And I don't think many people realize that. Because when you just want to stay comfortable all the time, you wrap yourself in a cocoon of safety.
Yeah.
And it does the exact opposite. It stops you.
Yeah.
It stunts you.
Yeah. There's no growth in a stable position.
That's right. Yeah.
In a comfortable position.
In my opinion.
Yeah. In fact, you say it here. There is a couple of points I really like. There was overcoming obstacles has installed me a sense of accomplishment and self-confidence. I learned to trust my instinct, take calculated risk, and embrace a new challenge with a newfound sense of empowerment.
Yes. So
actually, go through all this situation from your early childhood with very tough environment, and then the Navy, and then move here 18 years old alone
on my own,
on your own, not knowing everything, no one, and then go through bankruptcy, and then become a celebrity in your country.
Bizarre, isn't it?
It's bizarre. Yeah. But this is what make me mad is
Makes
you
mad.
went. Yeah, it make me think. Wow, no, life is wonderful because
Yeah.
you went through bankruptcy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But actually, now you teach people do not go through bankruptcy and or don't get there.
Well, yeah.
And
you don't-
without that, probably you wouldn't
yeah,
able to
you
do
don't
it.
you don't have to. You know.
Yeah.
People have different challenges in their life. I've just got to choose which ones am I going to take on,
Yeah.
which is really important.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. You wrote here learning and growth are interviewed with challenges, like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think is a great way to describe personal development. And this is what happened in relationship as well. No, in relationship, without a challenge in relationship, you don't grow in relationship.
That's right.
This is why I want to you here, because people go through obstacles in their relationship. They go through moments that
Yeah.
sometimes you want to just give up, say whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And instead, if you hold on and you go through the challenge, maybe you can learn
Yes.
and thrive in your relationship.
Yes.
Or maybe you can learn to, okay, this have to end, but
Well,
you
yeah,
can learn
know,
and understand it
and
yourself.
adjust your behaviour. You know.
Yeah.
So after the bankruptcy, I made a promise to my wife.
Mm.
I would never ever make a decision, especially an important one, without asking her
Mm.
and getting her agreement.
Mm.
If she says no, then that's it. No,
Mm.
this is our decision, not mine.
Mm.
And that's stood ever since then. And we have a much stronger relationship now than we've ever had.
Have before.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is vulnerability for you?
Right. Some people, especially men, think that being vulnerable is, crying in front of other people and being weak and whatever. But it's not. It's actually a great strength.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is just the ability or the willingness to be able to say, I don't know.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I was wrong.
I don't know.
Can you help me?
Yeah.
To show your inherent human fallibility.
Mm.
I don't know anyone who's perfect. Never met one.
Mm.
But too many of us set standards for ourselves that we can't possibly meet.
Yeah.
And so being vulnerable is just that willingness to show, whether it's fallibility, your humanity, or whatever. See, the problem is we as, again, particularly as men, think that if we do that, we will get judged.
Yeah.
People will judge us.
True.
Yeah, they do. They respect you.
Yeah.
They actually
true.
respect you.
That's true.
Because you're doing something that they probably have trouble doing themselves.
Mm.
And so it's really, really important.
How much vulnerability you need to have a good relationship?
How long's a piece of string? Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's situational for me.
Mm.
If I need to own up to something or say something or admit to something or whatever, then I used to find it really difficult to admit that I was wrong.
Mm.
Sorry, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I got it wrong. I'm sorry. That was really difficult.
Yeah.
But I'm getting much better at it now.
Mm. You're still learning.
I never stop.
Yeah, of course.
I make no claims on being
No.
great at it.
Absolutely.
But it is something that I do consciously practice.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what do you remember? If was a point with your partner, with Mary, that you touch the point to say, no, I need to change here. I need to more vulnerable, more open, more.
Yeah, it was after the bankruptcy.
Mm.
And I did struggle with it for a long time afterwards, but I knew that, and I just had to put my pride to one side, and just own up to the fact that I'm less than what I thought I should be, and it's made a big difference. It really has.
And how did your relationship change with her?
Oh, we laugh every day.
Mm.
And I mean every day. You know, I'm getting older now, and my memory is not quite as good as it could be, and neither is hers. So
Yeah.
we laugh about it. Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot again. You know,
With my underwear.
You know, we just learned to do that, and
Yeah.
we would occasionally have crosswords, but it wouldn't be any more than at maximum once a year,
Yeah.
and even then, it's then back. Usually, you know, it's probably me that's been at fault there, and I'm sorry, Dan, I didn't mean it, or whatever.
Yeah.
And we make up, and it's done.
Mm. What you have 2 kids,
Yes.
correct? What do they think about your vulnerability, new vulnerability? What is the teaching?
They've been living away from us for a long, long time.
Yeah.
The eldest one's been living away from us for 15 years, whatever. First, he went off and had his own place in Perth here, and then he moved to Spain.
Yeah.
6, 7 years ago.
Mm.
So we only catch up occasionally.
Yeah.
Most recently, about a month ago.
Yeah.
And my other son, he's been in Melbourne for probably 10, 12 years.
Mm.
And we see him about once a year.
Mm.
So it doesn't really come up that much.
Okay.
But I probably spend more time listening.
Mm.
Yeah.
What if you could? I know that you don't like to give advice, and I want to call in a different way. What do you think? If I come to you and ask you, James, what can I do to be more, to become more vulnerable, more open, to more emotional, more empath? You know, I meet a lot of men sadly that they're looking to become more. Sadly, no, it's a good thing to become more empathic with their partners. What would you suggest to me?
Okay, well, most of my work is in the business context. So
Yeah.
I don't do,
Of course.
very, marriage sort of stuff.
Of course.
I decided to stay away from that
Mhm.
aspect. But really, it's just I tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
About
Would you like to tell us a story?
about me admitting. I'll say, well, look, what some people have found, a lot of people have found, is that if they do this, then they'll actually get better results than by digging their heels in, and
Okay.
putting the wall up. Because that's what happens is people put, especially in the corporate world,
Yeah.
that people only let you see what they think you should see.
Yeah.
Okay, and people can pick it up
Yeah.
very easily. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't.
They
tend
put
to-
on a mask.
They put on a mask. Yeah,
put on a mask.
it's a facade
Facade.
that we put up. And I'm not saying drop your facade completely, totally, because I mean we're not going to reveal our deepest, darkest secrets to everybody. I mean that's common sense. But certainly in areas where, especially in interpersonal relationships at work, it's to be able to say things like, rather than insisting that I know what we should do here, be curious. Ask somebody, I'm thinking of doing this. What do you reckon? What do you think? Do you think there's a better way of doing this? Ask them.
There is any exercise that would you suggest to someone to want to drop the mask?
I think it's a slow process. It's not something that you suddenly become great at. For me, it was a slow process, and I think that big starting point is learning to be more interested in the other person. I want to, rather than me giving my point of view, I want to know what you. I want to ask you. I'm going to ask you a question. I want to really listen to you, and I want to understand you. I don't know what's made you you. I don't know where you're coming from.
Okay.
And if I do that, then there's a point there where when somebody else starts to tell me their story, okay, and people do that with me too, as you are,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an invitation for them to do the same.
Mm.
I'm opening the door for that to happen.
So be curious. Be
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah. And
Mm.
and what comes with that? Okay, so I'm becoming very curious when I'm really listening and and understanding where you're coming from. What happens there is that in that vulnerability and that curiosity, humility arises.
Mm.
You become more humble.
Yeah.
Because now I'm starting to realize that there's a whole world, a whole universe that I've got no idea about.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know your history, and the chances are you don't know your full history either. I certainly don't know mine at all.
Yeah.
Well, not at all, but the stuff I told you. But all of the little stuff that's made me who I am, most of it I think is unconscious.
Mm. Well, we have a message from
Yes, it is.
to the Majestic.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
For sure. Is to ask for help, to admit you don't know, and so on. And it's just saying I'm human, admitting I'm human. I'm not perfect.
Yeah. No, I ask you these things because I know that you talk about business purposes, but because I really believe that between a relationship and a marriage and a business, physical business, is just the name of the of the business, okay, just the contract. But our family is a business at one point. Become a business. You run a business. You two in the family, you run a mini.
I wouldn't recommend that, by the way.
A mini. a mini business that you need to check the money, the finance. You need to check the family. So. And many times when we are in a relationship, because we don't want to upset other people, we put on the mask. And putting on the mask, we stop listening to the other person, what they're saying, and we want to come across, point out that we are right all the time.
Yes.
When we are not. This is why I want to dig on this thing about vulnerability and what do you do?
Well, there's another aspect to it. There's another aspect to it as well, and that is being willing to face uncertainty.
Yeah.
Being willing to be open.
Yeah.
To finding out.
Yeah.
What works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. To try things.
Yeah.
To give it a go. And when you do that, and if you're also curious and vulnerable, and you're willing to embrace the uncertainty of life, it just opens doors. Because, okay, am I willing to try this? I don't know what the outcome's going to be here. I might say something. I wonder if I should ask this question. I don't know what the answer will be unless I ask it.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I willing to find out? Two things will happen, or two things can happen. One is a good outcome. In which case you can pat yourself on the back and say, yeah, great. What's the other thing that can happen?
Probably nothing.
You learn.
Yeah.
Two outcomes. Simple as that. And I'm not talking about taking life-threatening and certain situations.
No, absolutely.
I'm talking about normal life and normal interactions with other people, and maybe even business risks. And
when
I came to Australia, when I went and joined the Marines, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't realize at the time, but I've been extremely willing to do that. Go to Indonesia without knowing the language, and so forth.
I absolutely agree with you. Look, the other day I was talking with a young fella, and he's not a client, he's just a friend, and he has a problem that he is in love with this girl. Okay, and he didn't know what to do because very young. Man, I don't know if maybe she can reject me. And we have a long conversation about what could happen, And as you say, I ask him, what could happen if you keep going like this? You're going to let her decide for you, because she's going to decide if she wants you, or maybe she look for something.
Yeah.
Take the risk. Take the risk. Take the bull from the horn, no? And take the risk. Find out.
Yeah.
If it's good, it's good. If it's not good, it's not good. You
And
find
you know
someone else.
And you know what?
No problem. You cry a little bit for the next 20 minutes and then find someone else.
Yeah.
You're young. So,
But you can't actually die of embarrassment.
yes,
You can't.
you cannot die
I
of
know that from
embarrassment.
personal experience. I had trouble with girls in my early. I was so embarrassed. You know, it was even meeting my wife. You know, that was tough.
Yeah,
you know,
no.
And you know, I'm really glad. You know, she persevered, and it was great. But I there's no way I'd go and ask a girl out. I was too embarrassed. So.
That's true. That's true. And look, I like the way that you started your conclusion in this story. You wrote, embracing vulnerability, humility, and uncertainty is not about surrendering to unknown. It's about empowering ourselves to navigate the unpredictable nature of life with resilience.
Yes.
Man, I think I will close here this this appointment. No, because it was such a beautiful things to say. Okay, and I think is a very good way to close this podcast. Can you please? I would like that you share, hold the book as well again. Yes, the book. What is the title of the book?
The Power of Connection.
The Power of Connection.
And hopefully, I've got a link to the Amazon, so you can download the Kindle version of it.
Okay.
Mine is just one of the stories in there.
Okay.
And $7.99 on Kindle.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, James, for this beautiful. Would you like to give the last insight for the people?
Just to say that you mentioned the vulnerability, the uncertainty and the curiosity. You know, one of the things that comes out of this is acceptance. Self-acceptance, particularly.
Yes.
Because I'm no longer embarrassed. I can take on new things and not worry about them because there's only two outcomes. And I get to learn a lot about myself and about other people. And that really boils down to being more authentic. That's
very good. That's very good. Thank you, James. So this is the end of this podcast. Next week, we're going to talk about law with a lawyer, family law, what involves the law in Australia about marriage, relationship, what is the difference between a relationship, a long-term relationship, and a marriage. And all of you, if you want to talk with someone because maybe you go through a complex time, reach out to maurodavidio.com. I'll be very happy to help you out. Otherwise, let's catch up next week on Age Radio Australia. Thank you, Age Radio Australia, to hold this podcast, and see you next time.
And
ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.